Hello everyone, this is Sridhar, product manager at Syncfusion, handling web products, majorly Blazor platform. So today, what's the agenda is, we are going to discuss about what's new in our Blazor suite for Volume 2 2020 and what's new in our PJ2 suites. And our main item is how to build a simple to do progressive web application using ASP.NET Core-hosted Blazor WebAssembly using Syncfusion Blazor components. So what's new in Blazor for 2020 Volume 2? We majorly focused on streamlining our components, and we made some of the components as production ready, card and progress bar. We also provided the compatibility support for .NET 5.0 Preview 6. Let's dig into some of the component features that we provided in the last release. First, scheduler component. In scheduler, we have provided an enhancement for visual scrolling that lets you to load multiple resources with a template. We provided inline editing support, which makes you edit appointments with single click. The horizontal year view in scheduler exposes the annual view of the calendar. This helps you to frequently navigate between years and months. We also had some enhancement in timeline year view, which helps you to configure multiple resources and enable row auto hide when adding more appointments. Next, progress bar. So we have provided some of the features like active progress bar, which allows you to indicate the active state of the progress when action is performed. We also provided a striped progress bar for appearance customization. We have a progress segment that allows you to segment the progress of a task. In word processor, we have provided form field support that allows users to design forms using legacy form fields for components like text box, checkbox, and dropdown, which is used for filling the forms. We also provided track changes support that allows users to view the changes made to a document by several reviewers and accept or reject the changes. In PDF viewer, we provided ink annotation support that lets you draw freehand on PDF files. These annotations can be moved, resized, removed, or edited. In pivot table, we have provided JSON data source support, whereas we have now provided CSV data source support. Considering the size of JSON and CSV, CSV will be taking half of the size only. This helps you to reduce the bandwidth while transferring data to the browser. The pivot chart in the pivot table now has this chart type supported: pipe, donut, pyramid, and funnel. So breaking changes in Blazor is majorly focused on strongly typed support for some of our event arguments and some of our properties. You can go through the release notes for brief. Considering Essential JS2, we have some of the features. Let's check component by component. First, Gantt chart. We have provided indenting and outdenting on hierarchical levels of tasks. We have enhanced resource view with some advanced features like multi-task bar support, which lets you visualize multiple tasks assigned to each resource in a row when the rows are in collapse state. Another advanced feature in resource view is over allocation. Over allocation indicates when a resource is assigned two or more tasks that occur in the same date range. Regarding data grid, we provided features like autofill with frozen rows and columns, filter bar support with operator selector, which lets you to change the operator dynamically. For example, if we have a string column, you can able to choose whether the filter operator selector as contains or starts with or ends with, like that. Similarly, different data types also supported. We have also supported infinite scrolling with rows and columns. Considering spreadsheet, we have provided the conditional formatting feature that allows you to format a cell or range of cell based on the condition applied. We have provided most of the conditional formatting features like data bars, color ranges. We have also provided aggregate support that let you quickly check the sum, average, count, minimum, maximum for the selected cell. Okay, we are just jumping into the main part of the session, building a to-do PWA app, progressive web app with Blazor WebAssembly using Syncfusion Blazor components. Prerequisites are .NET Core SDK 3.1 or later. Based on your OS, you need to choose your IDE like Visual Studio or Visual Code. So first, what is the step-by-step walkthrough for simple to do is, I'm just going to create a simple Blazor PWA app, and what are the main requirements are to have a model and a component that binds the data from the model, and then how we are going to see the application as a PWA, and we are going to host it in Azure and check by installing it as a PWA and see the native kind of thing, and also test the offline support. Okay, first I'm just going to click the create new project in the Visual Studio that lets you to choose the different project templates. I'm just going to choose the Blazor app and name it as Syncfusion PWA to do. We need to choose Blazor WebAssembly app. I'm just going to target .NET Core 3.1 and choose the options for ASP.NET Core-hosted and Blazor progressive web application. I'm just clicking create. This creates the application. So this is the step we have done. Next, we are just going to create a model for to-do item. I'm going to add a class name to-do item. Going to change this type as public so that it can be used across server and client projects. I'm going to have a property of type string to receive the input for to do, and have type bool to know whether the application is done or not. I mean the task, do task. So that's it. The model is done, and we are going to create a to-do component here. For that, we need to have our Syncfusion Blazor Nougat package installed. So I'm just going to install our Nougat package. So once this is done, we are going to add a register our Syncfusion service. Okay. Okay, I have registered our Syncfusion Blazor service now. Next, going to add the CSS. I'm just going to use from static as a so I added the style. Next, I'm going to change the index.razor as a to-do component. So first, what are all the namespace I need to add is we are going to use the input to receive to-do item. So I'm just going to add Syncfusion Blazor inputs. Similarly, next we are going to have an action button. So we are going to add the namespace for button. So to collect all the to-do item and to showcase it as a list, we are going to have a list view. So I'm just adding namespace for it. So to access the to-do item from shared project, I'm going to add the namespace too. So first, I'm going to have input as a text box. So with the placeholder like add to do item. Next, I'm going to have an action button. I'm adding this div to make the look and feel better. Add to. Okay. So here we need to have some bindings. So to have a binding and to receive an input from the user, we should have a string property Then to after receiving the input from user, we need to add it in a collection. So I am just going to use a observable collection. To use observable collection, I'm just going to add the namespace system.collections.object model. Observable collection of our to-do item. I have created a collection now. So we are going to have this property as a bindable value to the text box. Then we need to have a action for button. So I'm just going to create a handler for button at to-do item. In this, I am just going to check if the input received from text box is allow white space. And then do some processing. I'm going to add a collection add the input received from text box to the collection. And make the input received as string.empty. And then going to bind this event to the button click. The later part is we are going to have the list for showcasing or to do collection. So as a list view, I'm going to have the data source as collection of observable collection. So we are going to showcase like checkbox for whether the item is done or not, and then followed by the title. So we are going to have the template here. So have the key value as to do item. Then have some templates here. So first one is checkbox. So as of checkbox, we need to bind the checked property with context as to do item that is done. Followed by the title text. Okay. So to add a thing like we can have a header to represent how much to do is completed. So I'm just showing the count that is still pending in the to do. That's it. I'm just going to launch the application. The application is launched. So here you can see a plus symbol that makes you install this app as a native application. Whereas this is in development mode, so we cannot see how it will behave in offline. Whereas you can see the look and feel. I'm just adding some few of the things like check mail, read blogs, pay bills. So here, this is the list view. This is the input part, and this is the button which you are incorporating. And you can see the reflection of changes of selected items is reflecting in the to-do header. So this is the app functionality. So further, we are going to see how we are going to host this application and check the PWA native and offline support. For this, we are having some steps. So I'll just walk through it. So for hosting, we need to have some changes in base href followed by CRG usage. So custom resource script generator usage. So we can use the required CSS and required scripts to avoid loading of larger items, and this is the preferable one for hosting, for production applications. And while publishing, we need to folder publish it. All right. And then we need to change some worker service worker assets. Okay, let's look into it. So I will just show you the CRG download part. So we are having components like list view, button, checkbox, and text box. So I choose the required components, and I need the minified version, and I'm choosing the Blazor Bootstrap 4 theme for this, and everything is selected, and I'm just going to download the required packages. So let this get downloaded. In the meantime, I'm just going to modify the base href, like I'm just going to publish this as in the URL to do. So I'm just going to change the base href for this. Once this is modified, we need to remove this styles, since we are going to use the styles that is downloaded here. So here you can see our download is completed. So I'm just using this scripts and styles. I'm just going to paste it in www root. Okay, and then add this script and style like this. Okay, before changing this base ref, I'm just want to show you how we can launch this with this downloaded CRG. For this, I'm just going to add some more CSS like license styles. Okay, that's it. So I'm just going to relaunch the application to show you how the development look and feel with the downloaded CRGs. So here you can see the same application is launched. Everything is working perfectly. Okay. Let's go on to the hosting part. As I said earlier, you need to change the base href to do, and I will change it. Okay, I'm just going to publish this client app. We need to choose the publish as folder. So this folder type. You can see the folder profile created and its settings are choose. So we are just going to publish this. It will take a while. So once this is published, we need to edit the service workers, which will be loading the static assets of Syncfusion. Since we used CRG, we can remove it and post it. So in the meantime, I have just opened my Azure portal, and we have already created a service plan. So you just need to create a service plan with .NET Core 3.1. So in that, we need to go to the development tools and choose advanced tools. So this will be navigating to another window. So here we are going to move the published folder. So this will be having a folder named site. So whenever we need to publish something, we will be moving the published folder to inside of this site folder. So this publish is in progress. So it will be taking a while. So in Azure deployment, we are going to do these things. Move the published folder to Azure. As I said, we have created a service plan, and in the service plan, we have chosen the development tool option, and we have moved to the particular site folder. We are just going to move the published folder into the site folder, and later we are going to have some configuration for map settings. Once this is done, we can launch the application. Publish is started. Few more seconds. I don't know why. Yeah, okay. Publish is completed. So we need to go to the bin folder and release folder and then publish. So as I said earlier, we have modified the index.html base ref as to do, and I'm just going to modify this folder as this name. Okay. So as I said, we need to modify the service worker assets. So here you can see all the static web assets from the Syncfusion will be loaded here, which is not required since we have used our CRG to load scripts and CSS for the required components. I'm just going to remove the static web assets that are not required for posting. Once this is done, I'm just going to zip it and drag and drop this to do to our site folder. Okay, I'm just dragging it to the site folder. So here it is more, and I'm just going to have some configuration for the path settings. I'm just going to map the same name, folder name to do, and with the physical path as I'm going to make it as preload enable and save this settings. It's getting updated. I'm just going to launch this. Since this is for WebAssembly PWA, it's a catchy first approach. So it always catches and it will be adding up in the application storage. So here you can see the service worker install is going on. Later, the service worker will be activated. Once the service worker is activated, our application will be launched. So here our application is launcher. I'm just going to add some labels, read blocks, segment. I've added a few things and just taking it on. So here you can see the application can be installed. This looks like a native application, and for this you will be getting added the shortcuts also. So what I'm going to show you right now is to disable the network and have this site loaded. Here you can see the service worker will be downloading initially. Later, this will be served. So see, now the network is in offline mode. Now also the application getting loaded. This is done by the service workers. So here you can see the downloads are done by service workers. So here you can see everything is done by service worker. So that's it. Thanks everyone for joining this webinar.